So it's a winner-take-all here today. Earlier, they just finished that Final Four setup where Ateneo faced UST. NU was going up against FEU. NU and UST triumphed and entered into the finals. Now, let's talk about the Blue Eagles. They've been here in this situation before last year. In the last season, they've had the same setup. It was Ateneo going up against FEU as well, but Ateneo took home the bronze for that time. And it is a very familiar lineup between and partnership and tandem between one of the top scorers in the indoor volleyball for Ateneo, Gian Salarzon, and Emil Pasino. So they're in a very familiar territory.
That's right. Pasino has been playing UAP beach volleyball since season 84, and Salarzon is suiting up for his second year of beach volley.
Meanwhile, on the other side of the court, the FEU Tamaros are fielding in Vincent Nadera and JJ Javelona. These two young guns of FEU are going to show up here today, as JJ Javelona is only in his first year as a sand player, a sand volleyball player. Meanwhile, Vincent Nadera has been here with Martin Bugawan last season and faced the same tandem of Gian Salarzon and Emil Pasino.
That's right, Sinj. The FEU Tamaros are in for a heated battle today, as FEU last made the finals in season 81 and 82, bringing both silver both times.
Of course, and another interesting note here is the familiarity, because in terms of being familiar with each other, yes, they are very familiar with each other, but their coaches are also very familiar with each other. These two players coaches, former players turned coaches, were opponents in the UAP beach volleyball before. They've been in off-season tournaments against each other and together as players, so they're very familiar with each other, talking about the coaches of the Tamaros and Doy Barica, and of course the coach of the Blue Eagles, Henry Pecania, both legends in the sand courts. As well, as we begin the action here inside the sands at SM by the Bay. So for those who are not familiar, there's only two players who are fielded in beach volleyball, and the most interesting part here is they usually play most of it unless there's a medical substitution.
That's right. And to inform everyone, the score is only up until 21, not 25, unlike indoor. And once you have that substitution, Sinj, you cannot have another substitution at that. You have to stick with the main two that you have. Yes,
whoever is inside the court, they stay there unless there's a medical substitution. Then if they're replaced, then that will be the pair, the tandem that will be there. There are medical timeouts, there are timeouts, but they're called by the players. Coaches are not actually involved inside the court, as we see 1 point apiece here for both sides of the court. Now, I got to talk to the coaches earlier, right before our coverage, and Coach Barica was mentioning that for FEU, the biggest change here is having Javelona on their side of the court, as there will be a catch and throw violation called here against Pasino.
That's right. In beach volleyball, in terms of setting, it's very tricky. There's usually that
you
dip.
Can have that hold.
It's like a dip, and then you extend your hands, unlike indoor where you have to let go of the ball right away when you set.
Here you have that moment to actually have a hold of that ball, and a lot of the elements also working against you in beach volleyball. You have the sun, the heat, especially if you're playing it during the day. You also have
the unstable surface as well.
Yeah, the surface. All the elements, so from fire, earth, and earth, wind, and fire.
Earth, wind, and fire, yes.
But that doesn't even count if you actually play this by beachside. Sometimes water even comes into play when it's raining.
That's right.
So, and that happens sometimes, as we see
a lot of factors.
Yeah, a lot of factors, as we see a very tight start here at the very start of our first set. Serve coming.
That's a nice serve
from Nadera.
Wow.
Great hit there coming from Salarzon coming through.
It's a great cross-court attack by Salarzon. I mean, with beach volley, Sinj, you mentioned this earlier, you only have two players on your side, so you really have to have that court awareness, and you really have to outsmart your opponent.
It's slightly smaller than the indoor court, but the biggest difference here as well is in beach volleyball is how strategic you are also with your serves. As we look at this again.
Great timing of the block by Salarzon.
Also, the types of jumps that you do here, you do more vertical jumps. And
That's right.
every time the scoreboard totals the multiple of 7, you switch courts just to even out the playing field, given that there's a lot of elements
That's
involved.
Right. The sun could be on your side. You want to switch it.
As Nadera will push us to the other side. Salarzon will pop this one up. Pasino adjusting and getting that off the hands of FEU. If we recall, for those who are just catching up on beach volleyball action, during the eliminations round, these two squads faced each other. Ateneo succeeding in 2 sets, 21 to 13, 24 to 22. So if anything goes like their second set, it's going to be much more heated and exciting.
Yes.
There's also the concept of gustong bumawi nitong
right.
Tamaraos, as so far the momentum swings on the side of the white shirts.
Now, Emil Pasino of the Ateneo Eagles is a lefty, going with that spin serve, very strategic. Lots of benefits being a left-handed.
Of course, all 4 players that we're seeing on the floor right now are wing spikers in their indoor positions. As we look at this off-speed touch,
Yep.
very well placed.
That's
there.
right. Pasino a little bit late in that rally.
That's also very crucial here in beach volleyball, the placement of your ball shots. As great denial here coming from FEU Havilona, just denying Salarzon right there, as JJ Havilona will now serve for the Tamaraos. You know, a lot of indoor players.
Yes, Havilona.
Love to cross-train or even play beach volleyball at the same time, because
Lots of benefits.
Yeah, it adds to your
Elevation.
leaping ability, and of course your defense. And you see this hit coming from Pasino.
Pasino being that lefty. He goes down the line, cross court. A lot of tricks up your sleeve if you are left-handed.
A jump float serve there coming from Salarzon. Off speed there coming from Havilona. On the other side, Pasino going for that hammer, but that's going long.
A little too wide. You know, it's easy to say it's a lack of wrist action, Singe, but especially when you're on an unstable surface, there's a lot of factors that come into play when you compare it to indoor volleyball.
Very, very different ball game. And that a lot of the players would say it's really a different sport altogether. Very similar rules, but different sport. As Salarzon just put some power in that last hit. 2 points ahead are the Blue Eagles.
Nadera was there. His forearms were actually faced going straight. He needed to curve his shoulder there in that rally.
Defense patterns also will matter a lot here, not just in service, but also in digging, because that blocker should be blocking the side that no defender is right behind, as Salarzon being able to cover some airspace there.
See that replay? Great block by Salarzon.
Something that we see even in his
indoor game.
Yeah. Pasino hits it straight to the net. That will be a point for FEU. FEU now trailing behind here by 2. And Havilona will now serve for the black shirts. Popped up there by Pasino. Salarzon unable to get that through Havilona. There's also that since there's just 2 of you inside the court, there's also that challenge of being able to read each other.
Definitely.
And gelling each other when you're in beach volleyball. There's knowing who will go up front, knowing who will be the receiver, and aside from that, you're also trying to play with your strengths, as Pasino goes for a tip here. On the other side, it is not picked up, then popped up by FEU.
And Sinj, if you actually see the strategy of FEU, they're targeting Salarzon for that serve, so he avoids that third contact, which is the attacking portion. So they're trying to cancel him out in that department.
Very tricky here. We haven't seen anything very crafty yet. Both teams playing it very smart and very strategic beach volleyball here on both sides of the sand court.
See Javelona. And just to remind everyone, when you have that third contact, when you go for a drop ball or a tip, you have to use your knuckles, right?
Yeah.
You can't have that open hand like in indoor volleyball.
You also can't do a dump, like a setter's dump.
Like a 1-2 play.
1-2 play. But there are different 1-2 plays here, which, you know, you can expect with players like Pasino who are lefties.
Yes, true.
They have
could attack.
Yeah, they could attack with a different angle as Pasino pops this one up. The setup coming from Salarzon. Pasino will tip it right behind Javelona.
Now, Sinj, earlier you mentioned that you need to have familiarity between your partner, and you can see that Pasino likes to set a little bit on the net as opposed to off the net. So nice set by Salarzon.
We're now entering our technical timeout. We'll be back here at the UAAP Beach Volleyball Battle 4-3.
Back to live action. That's serving.
Back here inside UAP Beach Volleyball action as that serve sails out. It's going to be a 2-point lead for the Blue Eagles here. Javelona will now serve. Now, he has that very deadly jump serve back in indoor, but here it's limited down to a jump float, of course, given the elements. You know, one of the biggest challenges for beach volleyball players is actually cramps.
Definitely.
As we see here, the 3-point lead insisted by Ateneo this time.
The senior pressing. Timely press on that block.
Getting that through the blockers. Salarzon with that serve. Nadera with that back.
The back set
The
here.
back set. Similar to
Cinco,
running attack.
yes.
Cinco play ba yan? 2-point lead here for FEU.
Let's see that replay. Strategic play by FEU.
Great strategy there coming from Nadera. Great playmaking from the side of FEU, but now they scramble as they try to bring the ball back here on the side of Ateneo. Salarzon will now go for a soft touch going down the line, but that will be too wide.
It's the right idea by Salarzon. Just too wide in that rally. He has a lot of hang time as well in terms of his approach. Not as explosive, but when he was in the air, he went for that down the line.
1-point game now as Nadera serves. That's straight to Pasino. Salarzon will set this up to Pasino, but a catch and throw violation will be called against Salarzon.
You know, it's very tricky in terms of the setting portion.
There's that delay. If you just delay it an extra, or you put it down, you dip it down too low.
They call it that dip, and then you extend your arms.
For our Filipino, or the Filipino term for that is yung binibitin mo yung set.
Yes, that's right.
That's why if you'd notice, the tendency here, especially if you're naturally an indoor player, is to do an underhand set instead, as we see that cross-court hit coming from the middle from Pasino.
And normally when you do that ipit set that you just mentioned, it's normally on a combination play in indoor. So
to delay the timing of the ball. Off speed coming from Javelona, smartly placing that ball right behind Salarzon. We are now 14-all. FEU making this more exciting, Jamie.
It's a beautiful off-speed attack by Javelona. It's not always about having those fancy plays, Sinj, the very strong attacks, but in beach volleyball, there are only two of you, so placement and using your smarts is key.
There's really a lot of players who really flex their court sense here. Salarzon will catch that one up, but that is too far and out of reach for Pasino.
Now in that sequence, there was a deflect on the block, and just to remind everyone, that's already one contact. So in that rally, FEU only can contact the ball 2 more times.
Salarzon will try this time as FEU takes the lead for the very first time at this middle part of the set, making it a 2-point lead now for the Tamaraos.
Ladera with that cross-court attack, and this is one of the few times we've seen a very strong attack going there. We've seen, in terms of their strategy, Singe, a lot of off-speed attacks, a lot of knuckle tips on the other side, but that's a great swing by Nadera.
And this is what Coach Doy Barica was mentioning to me earlier. The advantage that they have this year compared to last season was that they have new people inside the court and they have taller players this time, given the injection of Javelona.
Height and might for FEU.
But so far, FEU, the lead is now trimmed down to 1, courtesy of Ateneo. Salarzon will try to tie that up, but that serve will go long. This will be back to a 2-point lead for the Tamaraos. FEU just 4 points away from closing the set out. Serve now coming from Nadea. That's straight to Salarzon. Pasino will pop that one up. Salarzon with full extension gets that point for Ateneo.
Beautiful cross-court attack by Salarzon. Neck-and-neck battle here we have against Ateneo and FEU.
You know, another thing that you'd have to consider when you're watching beach volleyball is how much there's a game of speed as well.
Yes.
Agility plays a lot of factors. Javelona goes for that strong cross-court right off the hands of Salarzon.
Nadera contacting Javelona with that serve, which forces him to contact that third one with that strong attack. Very strategic, small move, Singe, that really make a difference here in beach volley, as you only have 2 players on the court.
They now set this up for Pasino on the side of the Blue Eagles. Great pop-up there coming from Javelona, and Javelona just hammers that down.
I mean, imagine if that was an indoor attack, Singe. That would have been a bounce ball, but great speed, great elevation, perfect set on the net for Javelona.
Perfect target. It would have been a first-line attack. This was indoor as we head on to this timeout on the side of Ateneo. Now, the interesting part also here is timeouts, especially since they're called by the players, the coaches are not allowed to join in the timeouts. So it's a time for them to recuperate, to just
catch their breath as well.
As FEU now enjoys the most comfortable lead that they've had here in this first set. 3-point lead. As it's 19-16. Serve now will come from FEU. Javelona on deck. That goes straight to the net. Now, will this be a turning point for the Eagles? Is something that will be on that will start on the hands of Gian Salarzon.
Let's see where Salarzon Singe will target his serve.
Goes straight to Javelona. Nadera will give the opportunity to Javelona as Javelona hits that ball out.
Too wide in that rally by Javelona. Trying to target that corner pocket. Long ball, but just too wide in that rally.
Lead trimmed down to 1. Now it seems like FEU will be calling a timeout as their 3-point lead earlier has been trimmed down to a single-point game. Very interesting and tight first set that we're seeing here from both sides of the court. FEU looking to change things up on their side and maybe halt the momentum that's swinging on the side of Ateneo. What are you observing so far, Jamie?
Well, I'm trying to see the strategy of both squads in terms of who they serve to, right? For example, if FEU serves to Salarzon, Salarzon will go for that attack. In terms of FEU, I'm also checking the location of the set, the second contact. A lot of their players want their set on the net. You don't want it too off the net, they won't be able to go for that broad jump. But both squads are doing a great job in terms of ball control. We did mention the factors, the heat, the sun, but both squads are doing a good job. I mean, it is a neck-and-neck battle, as we see that play as well.
Quick recovery there coming from FEU, bringing them to a set point advantage. Let's look at that again. This is their most effective sequence on their side of the court. That back set coming from there straight to Vilona.
It's the second time FEU has done that attack.
Looks like a running or a single when you're watching indoor volleyball. As Salarzon tries to answer back, but that will sail long. FEU takes set number 1 with a 3-point lead. Great recovery coming from the Tamaros. Let's look at that again. Last point that we've seen earlier as we see the FEU players not yet celebrating.
It's too early to celebrate.
Too early to celebrate. As we look back at that first set, 21-18 in favor of the Tamaros. Let's look back at the highlights of set number 1. You know, we've seen great composure coming from FEU.
Yes.
Just keeping it close, and then when the opportunity striked, they were able to start their own momentum and take on the lead.
That's right. Talk about Nadera and Havilona. Great tandem between both squads. That familiarity, that look that they give each other. They know what to do in there. Let's see if they can get this second set.
And we'll find out the answer to that. Will FEU be able to continue and win the bronze medal, or will Ateneo be able to bounce back when we return here at the UAP? And we're back here. FEU with the first serve as you're watching the UAP Season 86 Men's Beach Volleyball Battle for third. First point goes to the side of the Blue Eagles. Pasino will now serve for the white shirts.
Now, since Ateneo is down 1 set, they have to be more crafty in terms of their attacks, just as we saw Havilona in that off-speed attack. They are down 1 set. They have to be strategic in their movements. They have to communicate a bit more. But great, smart play by Havilona in that rally.
Serve now coming from Havilona. Oh, poor reception here coming on the side of Ateneo. Skyball, the first skyball that we've seen here in this ball game. On the other side, oh, that's overcooked by Nadera.
Yeah. Actually, in terms of wrist action, we see Nadera lacking in that rally.
He had the right intention to push it by the end zone, but that's just heading out. Salarzon will now serve for the white shirts. Oh, that's too short.
Salarzon targeting Havilona in that serve. Lack of strength in that serve.
Serve now coming from Nadera. That goes straight to the net.
Back to you, says Nadera.
Exchange of freebies here from both sides of the court as Pasino will now serve for the white shirts. That's straight to Havilona. Havilona will now have the opportunity to hit. He goes for a cut shot, an off-speed cut shot. Oh, we've been talking about dumps. And
it's the first one we've seen so far in this match.
Smart move there coming from Gian Salarzon.
There was a hole in the defense. This is what I was saying earlier about being crafty with your movements. Smart play by Salarzon.
Courtsmont now playing into action as we see a 1-2 play with an answer coming from Nadera. Nadera looking more natural here inside the volleyball court.
Perfect timing as well. The speed of the first receive from Havalona allowed him to go for that tip.
Game of strategy from both ends now starting to come into play, becoming more obvious here at the second set. Serve coming from Havilona. They go up to Salarzon. Salarzon finding the corner.
Height and might for Salarzon, targeting that cross-court attack, that corner pocket. Could see that replay.
We're so used to Gian Salarzon indoor going for those broad jumps. Now we see him just flexing his vertical leap. Oh, great challenge there from that serve. Salarzon now pops this up for Pasino. Pasino going too wide, but
had the right intention of going for that off-speed attack. But the defense was already on that side, just a little overcooked in that rally.
1-point game. Ateneo on the lead so far. This has been the story of the first set, but FEU was able to snatch its first set away from Ateneo. Ateneo now looking to extend this to the third as Salarzon gives his tandem a 2-point lead.
Scoring in between of Nadera and Havalona, nicking the line in the back row. Inside.
Oh, that's in.
That was an obvious inside attack by Havalona.
Havilona now joining the game of playing it smart. Tight game here as the serve comes from Havilona. On the other side, Salarzon pops this. This is popped up for Salarzon rather. Havilona trying to get that one through the block, but smartly going for the tip.
Havilona being crafty this entire match. Off-speed attack.
Six all. Serve coming from Havilona straight to Salarzon. They go up to Salarzon. Oh,
kill block.
Killed. Everyone was right by the net at that moment. Too late for anyone to.
The difficult part about beach volleyball, Singe, is when you have a kill block. It's difficult to actually cover because there's only two of you on the court. You don't have players behind you, unlike indoor.
Most probably the other players already setting the ball up right in front of the net. So either you cover yourself up or you expect your tandem to be very speedy as we enter another switch court here. 2-point lead for the Tamaraws. It's probably the first set and early on that we're seeing the Tamaraws leading and taking the charge here.
Wow.
But Salarzon has something to say about that.
That's a great swing by Salarzon. The set of Pasino was perfect on the net. Not too high, not too low. Avoiding the hands of Havilona.
Very tight cut shot there. Oh, what a serve!
With the help of the net.
Pays to be lucky.
Scores now 8-all.
Salarzon now continues to serve. You'd also notice most of our players, they get so thin when it's beach volleyball season because
the heat.
It's a very different training ball game all together as Pasino tries to get point there. The adjustment coming from Nadera. Coverage is there. Pasino off speed on the other side. Nadera getting that over Salarzon. Rather Havilona getting that over Salarzon.
Beautiful tandem between Nadera and Havilona. And you actually saw Havilona in that rally look as to where Salarzon and Pasino were in terms of defense.
And that last minute switch of making sure not
Oh, there we go.
allowing that to hit the long limbs of Salarzon. But great recovery here coming from Pasino.
Now, Sinj, earlier you mentioned the training is different from indoor to beach volley. In beach volley, you're not very focused on strength in terms of, you know, weight training, as opposed to indoor in terms of beach volley.
A lot of agility.
A lot of, yes, that's right. And jumping as well.
Yeah. It's about that jump. It's about that
Speed.
yes, speed. Power is, of course, part of it.
Of course.
But sometimes the risk by having too much power, especially if you're not constraining it to a particular direction in beach
True.
volleyball, is hitting the ball wide or long.
Yes.
As we're gonna see this hit coming from Salarzon. Oh, great pickup there coming from Nadera. But that's very challenging on the side of FEU. Great read from Nadera.
Yes, he read that well. Let's see that replay. Especially with that top spin serve by Salarzon.
That's where you see where power comes into play.
Yes.
That's demonstrated pretty perfect there. Really, as this ball goes straight to the net.
Avalona a bit frustrated with himself in that rally. He tried to avoid the hands, that block rather, of Ateneo, but just a lack of execution in that rally.
1 point game in favor of Ateneo as we enter a technical timeout. We'll be back here at the UAAP.
Back to live action.
Back here at the UAP Beach Volleyball Battle for third. Salarzon serving. It's Ateneo going up against FEU Sinj and Reyes together with Jamie La Vittoria and Avalona. Quick recovery here, tying the ball game at 11 again.
Avalona redeeming himself from that last rally before the timeout, attacking that cross court.
You know what else is very fast at beach volleyball? The momentum swing.
Yes.
Earlier, we just saw how FE was trying to take control of this set, but now Ateneo is trying to adjust as we see great elevation there coming from Gian Salarzon.
He read that early on in the rally. The set was a little too tight from Nadera. It's actually setting Salarzon up for that beautiful hit.
The Tagalog. Serve goes out though for Pasino. Ateneo now giving some freebies on the side of FEU, tying ball game at 12.
This set is tied at 12.
Avalona
Are we looking
now
at
to
an
serve.
extended match here? We're about to find out.
Picked up there by Salarzon. They go up to Salarzon with the tip on the other side. And there, going wide there. We're seeing this pattern from both sides
Yes.
of the court. When the blocker's right in front, they try to go over the blocker and try to find the line on the sidelines.
Still ahead.
You gotta think quick on your toes, Sinj. Especially when you have that blocker right in front of you. You have to go for that tip, that off-speed attack.
As we see one of the few aces that we've seen in this ball game, courtesy of Gian Salarzon, just finding the line there. Now, when we say finding the line, it's literally finding the line here.
Nice serve.
Adjustment coming from Velona.
Avalona is blocking of him.
And
Great sportsmanship here that we're witnessing.
It's all good.
we're gonna have to get
I'm shocked Sinj Pasino actually didn't go for that block. He was right there. He probably decided last minute to play defense as he knew Nadera was going for that down the line.
And
13-14.
medyo bukad din yung set. You
Yes.
know, usually in beach volley, when the set is quite far from the net, a lot of the players let go. As
Let go.
serve coming from Nadera. Salarzon going for that extension, getting that point for Ateneo. Ateneo so far maintaining their lead here after being down as much by 3 in this set.
Power and might coming from Salarzon.
This venue has been a witness to a lot of history
Definitely, yep.
when it comes to beach volleyball. So today It's the same question as later we'll also be seeing the finals both in men's and women's, as we see a 3-point lead for the Blue Eagles. A very similar situation that we've seen earlier.
Yes.
And FEU is now calling for time, as Ateneo is just 5 points away from extending this ball game out. Meanwhile, FEU needs 3 to tie things over. This was also the same juncture earlier in the first set where FEU was able to change things up. So the question is, will the Tamaraws be able to do a repeat, or will Ateneo on the other side of the court be able to bounce back and change the storyline that FEU was trying to set up from the first set?
Now it's a test on the side of Ateneo Sinj because they are down 1 set. Let's see if they can maintain. You said this earlier, how the shift of momentum changes very fast here in beach volley. So let's see if Ateneo can maintain that momentum or elevate their game even more to reach that 3rd set.
A lull like that could do wonders for any side of the court. Let's see, Havilona will try to bounce back here, and he gets a bounce on that ball right on the court of Ateneo.
Now since Havilona went for that cross-court attack. In volleyball, there are 6 zones. In beach volley, there's just one big zone. There's no location specifically as where the server will serve. It's very different from indoor.
Salarzon will now adjust, going straight down to the line and finding that court of FEU.
I'm surprised that FEU is actually targeting Salarzon for that serve, which is allowing him to attack. They changed up their strategy here.
It could be also a strategy to tire him out. As they might be anticipating an extended set, but of course FEU will not allow that, as they inch closer and trim the lead by 2. Let's look at that again. Havilona being the main gunner. Meanwhile, on the side of Ateneo, Havilona has been getting a lot of hits here as Salarzon gets that one through.
All power from Salarzon. Also, gotta give credit to Pasino for the perfect set. Not too close to the net, not too far, just the way Salarzon likes it.
And he went for an extreme cut shot.
Yes.
Going for the corner. Serve coming from Pasino. Nadera will set this one up.
Yep.
Yeah.
Very, very efficient play we have here. Almost like a high running attack, as you will, or a cinco here. So it was actually a little too tight for Havilona, but it worked.
Poor timing also, that block coming from Salarzon. And there, reception woes will now change things up. And as we see an exchange of courts, let's look at that again.
Havilona targeting Salarzon.
That might just be very costly for the Blue Eagles.
And in beach volley, since if you're up just 2 points, that's already a lot, as your score only goes up to 21.
Serve coming from Havilona, that's straight to Salarzon. Pasino will adjust. They go for that back set play, and that works for Gian Salarzon.
Salarzon going for that long ball attack. Let's see the blocking, the location of the hands of Havilona up. If he had moved a little bit more to the right, he would have gotten that block by Salarzon.
Salarzon going for that serve straight to Havilona. They let go of that one, and that goes off the hands of Gian Salarzon. Havilona getting that point and trying to keep things very close here.
That's right. Havilona very focused in that rally.
Now we're to finish.
Nice serve.
Almost at the end, and reception woes here on the side of the Blue Eagles. FEU will go to Havilona. Havilona with a soft tip. Salarzon will adjust on the other side. Nadera.
Yes.
And FEU unable to bring that ball back to the side of Ateneo. Looks like Ateneo is looking to extend this, as they're now with a set point advantage. They have 2 set points so far. Serve coming from Pasino. On the other side, Nadera pops this one up. The tip
smart
coming from
play.
Vilona, smartly placing that ball.
You know, Javelona is using his smarts. He saw that Pasino was going a little bit near Salarzon, right behind him, but just targeting that corner.
Pasino was
knuckle.
expecting that, drop, but misdirection there coming from Vilona. Smartly doing that. Vilona now with a serve straight to Salarzon. Pasino pops this one up. Salarzon one-on-one against Javelona to extend the set.
That's a beautiful block by Javelona, timing it perfectly on Salarzon. Let's see that replay.
Look at that.
Javelona has been trying to master that block up against Javelona this second set. We talk about timing of getting that block.
As we now head for a timeout on the side of the Blue Eagles. 20 all. Crucial moments here. We've seen this in their previous meeting as the second set finished 24-22 during the eliminations round, but that went in favor of the Blue Eagles. This time, FEU looking to replicate, seemingly so, the same story, but to their favor, to bring home a medal back to Moraita.
This
A
is
hardware.
heated battle, literally cinch between both squads.
Well, it's just, well, almost 3 hours past lunch at 3 p.m. sun. Really scorching right into the sands here at SM by the Bay. Salarzon will try to recover. That's off the hands of Vilona.
Javelona, yep, Javelona a little bit late in that block, timing it perfectly. Salarzon up to serve.
Ateneo back with the set point. They just have one set point here. They have to take it here, or FEU might do so. Solid block coming from Gian Salarzon.
Timing that perfectly against Javelona. Let's see that replay. He just knew he would go right in the hands.
Binawian eh.
Yep. We enter set 3.
And now that brings us to a deciding set 3 here, as we look back at our scoreboard. It was a very interesting match here. FEU snatching the first one away from the hands of Ateneo. FEU trying to replicate the same story back at set number 2. But Ateneo was able to recover and close that one out 22-20. Set number 2 was a bit more interesting here, Jamie, as we look back at the numbers 21-18 in set number 1 in favor of FEU, and then 22-20 in favor of Ateneo. Let's look back at the highlights of set number 2.
Since what I saw, a change of strategy on the side of Ateneo. We see more attacking from Salarzon, meaning FEU is actually targeting Salarzon for that serve, which is allowing Pasino with that bump set. Salarzon, a lot of great attacks in terms of down the line, cross court, not in terms of crafty attacks, but power attacks as we enter set number 3. A very heated battle in that set number 2, Sinj.
And we're seeing the crowd here from the Tiger Spikers. This is the UST crowd. You're seeing FEU, some FEU beach legends here as we look back at the big score, 21-18 in favor of FEU, 22-20 in set number 2. So it's anyone's ball game here in the third set, Jamie.
And Sinj, just to remind everyone, set number 3, it's only up to 15. So let's see who will maintain their momentum.
15 or deuce.
Yes.
No, we've seen a 22-20 earlier. Let's just level the expectations for everyone as first point goes to FEU. Serve now, coming from the Tamaraos from the Dea. Popped up there, Salarzon denied there by the block. A great try there coming from Pasino, but that is No go. Back-to-back points here for FEU.
Valona will now time that block perfectly. Let's see if Salarzon will change it up a bit, going for those knuckle attacks or off-speed attacks.
He timed it well already earlier, and after finding that one out, now establishing that block against Salarzon, really learning from the past 2 sets.
Maybe that is, we talked about the serving strategy of FEU, Singe. Maybe this is what FEU wanted to begin with, targeting Salarzon for that serve and allowing him to attack, because they have read his movements in offense.
As we look at this again, Salarzon trying to go off the block there.
Check ball. Yep.
And finally getting the first point for Ateneo. They're down by 2. As Gian Salarzon now serves for the white shirts. That's straight to Havilona. On the other side, Nadera pops this one for Havilona. Havilona adjusting, finding the right pocket, right on the weaker side of Ateneo, that rotation.
Havilona going for that knuckle tip. No defense found on the side of Ateneo. Salarzon a little bit late on that read.
3-point lead for FEU, as we see a switch of courts as we go for multiple 5s now. Now that's an ace. FEU
with the help of the net.
Yeah, looking like a very different team here in the third set. Yeah, they know it's crunch time, and they're really pressing against Ateneo. Villona continues to serve. Salarzon was there. 1-2 play there coming from the duo of Ateneo. On the other side, adjustment coming from Havilona with another 1-2.
Okay.
Quicker paces from both sides of the court.
And that is one of the few times that we've actually seen Pasino attack. We haven't seen a lot of attacks from him, Singe, because FEU constantly targets Salarzon for that serve, forcing him to attack, forcing him to get that third contact.
We're starting to see more aggressiveness here, and this is rare. Seeing a setting violation here on the side of Havilona. Earlier we saw that on the side of Ateneo more. Now FEU starting to look human here.
That's right. We've mentioned this before, the setting is very tricky here in beach volley.
They're adjusting, popped up there by Pasino on the other side. Pasino will adjust that straight to the block of Havilona.
It's a great attack by Pasino, but the blocking of Havilona is very timely, very strategic.
Havilona's mastered timing that block right in front of the net, just like that timing for that regalo.
Over received by Salarzon, a free point given to FEU.
4-point lead here in favor of FEU, forces Ateneo to call timeout. Let's try to look at what Ateneo is starting to lack here, Jamie, in this third set, given that there's an established 4-point lead already by FEU.
In terms of the offense of Ateneo, it's being easily read by the FEU Tamaraws. Havilona always up at the net to block Salarzon. You see smart movement, smart plays by FEU just alone in the serving, Singe, targeting Salarzon for that serve, which is forcing him to attack, which is allowing Havilona to read that easily. So very strategic moves on the side of FEU.
A lot of things to look out for, aside from the fire of having a redemption story here on the side of the Tamaraws.
That's right.
Given that since the return of beach volleyball, they haven't made it back to the podium yet. Ateneo looking to play catch-up here. Meanwhile, FEU looking to close this out and continue the game plan. Timeout could have just halted their momentum, but let's see as this next sequence, Salarzon recovers and tries to catch up. Lead down to 3.
Let's see that replay. Salarzon being successful in that rally, going for that long ball attack. He has been silenced, singed by the block of Havilona.
Now Havilona will answer back. That's off the hands of Salarzon. You're now starting to see how Ateneo is also starting to get pressured here.
That's right. You see a little frustration from that rally. Salarzon was actually going in to block, but decided to play defense just a little bit late in that footwork.
Havilona with that serve, straight to Salarzon. Pasino will pop this one up to Salarzon. That's over.
Too tight. Too tight of a set by Pasino. Now this is crunch time for Ateneo Singe. You have to neglect all the factors that come into play in terms of heat. I mean, it is almost 3 p.m. It is a heated battle.
5-point lead is not nice side on the side. Make that a 6-point lead after that catch and throw violation.
I told you, setting is very tricky here in terms of beach volley. It's actually a dip.
As Ateneo now trails behind by 6. FEU taking full control of this third set so far. Getting that one through with Salarzon. The adjustment coming from the side. Also, if you notice that there's no stepping or crossing here because there's no midline. But they're adjusting. Oh!
Lucky point for Ateneo.
Lucky break there for the Eagles. Going to be a switch of sides. Now, the question here is, would this be the juncture where Ateneo will be able to bounce back, or will FEU just take this away? And it is a story of 5 points. 5 points to catch up. As Ateneo is down by 5, FEU just needs 5 to bring home another bronze medal, or to go back to the podium. Ateneo scrambling there for defense on the other side. FEU going to Nadera, got block coming from Salarzon, returned easily by FEU. They go up to Pasino, adjusting, and smartly placing it there.
You know, Ateneo's actually been avoiding Pasino to attack, but in that rally, being that lefty, going for that knuckle shot there.
Really finding a different angle.
Yep.
4 points is what Ateneo needs to catch up on as Pasino serves on the other side. They go up to Havilona, who finds a pocket there right on the empty side of Ateneo.
Targeting that long ball, that down the line. Salarzon was actually on the other side of the court. Outside.
Serve goes out. Great read there. There gives a freebie. Back to a 4-point game. 4 points to catch up for Ateneo. 4 points to close this out for FEU and bring home the bronze. Salarzon with that serve. Oh! Okay, smart move there.
That is a legal move. Nadera was actually, he has to be perpendicular to the net, and he was, but because that's the first time we've witnessed that in this match, Ateneo was fooled in that rally.
So coming from Havilona, 3 points away from winning this is FEU. Make that 2 after that hit goes straight to the net. Great opportunity there for missed opportunity there though, coming from the Blue Eagles. They've had no blockers right in front of them. Defenders were also favoring another side as FEU looking to close this out. They're just 2 points away, but beach volleyball is also about a game of hustle. So this may not be the end for the Blue Eagles. Meanwhile, FEU just looking to coast by and win the bronze this season 86. Salarzon popped up there by Nadera. 1-on-1 and Havilona wins that joust.
Seen a seesaw battle actually since between Salarzon and Havilona up at the net with this joust. Nothing too flashy. Very simple play by Havilona.
for the bronze was that serve of Avelona on the other side. Salarzon will try to stop things. Kept alive there by FEU. Pasino was there. Salarzon being aggressive. Nadera adjusting on the other side. Pasino will give a sky ball. Avelona pops this one for Nadera. Nadera going out.
Ateneo still in this match. Now down 6 points.
Six match points for FEU. Ateneo needs to catch up 6 points, stay alive for bronze hopes.
Chance right there.
Serve coming from Pasino on the other side. Avelona going for the finish, but that goes straight to the net.
Avelona trying to go for that down the line spot. Lack of execution in that rally. Ateneo still in this match, Singe 9-14.
Serve coming from Pasino on the other side. Nadera finding the line and winning the bronze for FEU. And redemption story,
Yes.
comes to fruition for the Tamaraos. Congratulations to FEU for bringing home the bronze back to Moraita.
Great hustle though, Singe, by the Ateneo squad.
Nadera, you have Nadera, you have Avelona, and of course Domingo bringing home the bronze back to the Far Eastern University Tamaraos 21-18, 20-22, 15-9. And as we look back at highlights of that third set, it was just FEU's ball game, and they laid it out to their favor already, Jamie.
That's right, Singe. FEU was up this entire third set. Smart plays by Avelona, knowing exactly when to time that block against Salarzon. I keep saying this, in terms of the serving of FEU being strategic and actually going for Salarzon, allowing him to attack.
And of course, after the bronze battle